As you can tell, this is going to be a serious video. As you read in the title, I was sexually assaulted by Logan Paul about 4 months ago.
I was walking on the street, somewhere close to where he lives. I don't actually know his exact address, uh, but I live, in that area, around where he lives. And of course, I recognized him, but I'm not usually um, the type to do more than a double take. So I kind of looked, I looked around, I looked when he was walking by. I was on the sidewalk, and I looked, kind of just looked in the eyes for a second. Um, and that was it. We kind of walked, past. We were kind of just, walking by, kind of like that. And I was confused why. It almost seemed like he was looking at me first, because, like the moment I looked over there, he was already like looking. Um, but I didn't think anything, much of that. And I continued walking, thinking, well, this is all right, just a weird look, But I remember I looked back, and he turned around. He was walking my same direction. Like it was a few yards back, and so he started walking towards me. He was actually walking pretty fast, and he came up. Eventually, he was right beside me, and there was like a couple of people around. Like it's a more busy sidewalk next to stores and things like that. And so he was close to me again, and of course I looked there. I'm like, wow, he's back there. What's going on here? It was the first time where I kind of noticed something was a bit off, I guess. And so there were a lot of people around, but I was walking, I was walking back to my house, and so eventually there was nobody at all, but just him and me, and it was getting quite odd. And started walking closer and closer and closer. Eventually, he was right beside me, and it was almost, you know, in hindsight, it seems much more bizarre than I thought it was at the time. But it was almost like I felt the incentive to say something at that point, and I did. So yeah, at this point, I felt obligated to say something, and I said something in kind of a normal way that I think he certainly didn't expect. It was just like as if he was any other guy. I said something to him, just kind of like, hey, what's up? I saw you back there, and he came all the way back up. I didn't even acknowledge, I mean, just looking back at this, I didn't even acknowledge the fact that he was Logan Paul, and he's this famous guy. It was like he was just a regular guy who I interacted with. And I think he picked up on that. And I don't, in hindsight, maybe he thought that was attractive or something. Uh, I don't really know what went into that. And so he started like, touching like my shoulder, like normally like a guy way. Uh, Nothing too weird at first, but it was kind of awkward considering I don't know him, and he certainly doesn't know me. Like I've seen him before. Obviously, he's Logan Paul. We don't know. Yeah, we don't know each other, and he starts doing that, like that, and we're just walking. I didn't say anything. He responded to me and be like, hey, what's up, or something like that, and he's like kind of nodding his head, and we're just like walking like kind of awkwardly, and he's got his hand right there, and so I kind of moved. I kind of moved away, and he was caught off guard by this too because I'm pretty sure most dudes, who know who Logan Paul is, they wouldn't think anything of that. I didn't think anything of that at the moment, but like it was just, you know, if a random stranger did that, you would do the same thing. And he once again was not expecting me to act as if he was a random stranger. And he actually asked after that. He's like, do you know who I am?" And I said, "Yeah, you're Logan Paul, from YouTube and whatever." And he's like, "Oh, well, I kind of looked like you didn't know who I was." And I should have asked him. I mean, I really don't know what I should have done. I There's a lot of things I should have done, but I didn't, which is why I ended up in the situation that I did. And so uh, he now knew that I knew who he was, and I don't know if that like turned him on even more or something, but like he like put his hand like all the way around like the back of my neck and like started pulling me towards him, and uh and then he just kind of let go, and that was about it. And he just he said, he's like, "Bye," It's like, "Hey, I'll see you later." And he literally said, he's like, "I'll see you later." And I was thinking, well, see you later. What's the chances I'm gonna run to Logan Paul again on some road that I walk, that I walk to and from, uh, my house, and I didn't see him after that. So I went back home and I kind of contemplated the very odd interaction I had with Logan Paul. I mean, literally, this guy that I've seen for many years, just on YouTube, the guy just does the weirdest thing, and me just not being, I don't know, completely all there, sort of being in shock, but also being, I don't know, I don't really know how to describe the way that the way my mind was at the time. It was just nothing too complicated, but also just out of the ordinary. And so I just kind of sat in my house for a bit, just kind of contemplating, And I remember remembering back to the way he was grabbing my neck, and I was just like, looking back now in hindsight, there was actually something really weird happening. Like it wasn't just a normal, guy like, "Hey, whatever." Like it was a very weird, smooth sort of transition pulling. It was definitely it, I could definitely tell he was getting like really I don't even know the word for it. It was like he was turned on or something. I mean, I know that for a fact he was turned on because of obviously what happened, later. But I was I would later find myself in a really bad situation. So yeah, a few days went by, and I have to go across the same sidewalk, the same sort of red stoned, whatever it is, same red stone sidewalk that they have all over the place. Um, Many days passed without seeing him, and well, and then I saw him again like 3 or 4 days later, and he actually ran up fairly quickly. Um, and then he grabbed my leg, like my left leg, like the thigh part of it, and kind of like um like slid up. And then I knew for certain that at least I know now, like something just didn't register in my mind. Like I knew something was wrong, but like I know now more after the fact that like even if I just experienced that moment, like I would know now clearer than I did then for some reason. Something was really